to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from a program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Do you love turning wrenches? Are you looking for a new career? Acres Equipment has the opportunity. In just 12 months. In the Fast Track program, you'll earn full-time wages along with incredible benefits, free tools in a toolbox, plus free comprehensive health insurance and an awesome retirement plan. Visit acres.com/careers to learn more about this exciting opportunity. Hurry, space is limited, so apply today and fast track your career. Acres is the equal opportunity employer.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
The 31st Annual Testicle Festival, Saturday, June 15th at Round the Bend Steakhouse, just off I-80, exit 426. Swing out 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. for music, fireworks, and, of course, nuts. Visit roundthebendsteakhouse.com for more.
It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios. Here is your host, Derek Pearson, brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
In this space, that can only mean one thing. Get your fingers ready. 402-464-5685. Starter Heyman text line if you want to be a part of what we're doing. If you have questions, you have a young quarterback in your space, you have a young receiver in your space, young football player, you're a coach, and get your pad and pen. We'll go through some things. But in this space, you can follow on the video streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961, because that music, that wonderful sound, can only mean that we're joined by the coach, QB coach extraordinaire, BT. Barry Thompson, what's happening, brother?
Hey, man, I need to learn about that testicle festival. You got to tell me about that thing, man.
Yeah, I got all the, listen, I got all of it that you want, because they try to get me on board. And you know me well enough, my friend, that the things that I'm for, I am for. And the things that I am not for, there's not an army of military leaders who can get me to the door. And I have a real thing that I'm not putting testicles in my mouth, man. Listen, I don't care what kind of seasoning you got. I don't care what kind of blend you got. Not really happening. So it's the 31st annual Testicle Festival. It's June 15th here in Nebraska. And I mean, listen, they've got DJs, there's merchandise, fireworks. They've got all the treats you could possibly stand. Usually shaved ice and that sort of thing. And then they've got, of course, the bull rides, the mechanical bull rides. Theirs is Buster the Bull. So you can, it's a whole thing. And apparently every kind of testicle you could possibly imagine. It's got, listen, so I'm going to read you the menu, Barry. You ready for this?
I'm ready. Hey, listen, I got my slap your mama spice. I'm ready to go.
There you go. There you go. I can see you in engaging. It's just not for me. But they have, cheese curds, Midwest, if you're going to do, corn husker nuggets, right? Which is sweet corn in a crispy batter, right? You put a little Frank's Red Hot and a little mayo on it, and off you go.
I put that ish on everything.
Right? Pub pickles. Okay. Cowboy bites, which is certified Angus beef bites. They make their own cowboy butter, right? It's a thing, right?
All right.
And then, then it's a full range. And they've got all sorts of, it's everything. Everything's available, right?
Yeah.
Everything's available. You can get chicken, you can get wings, you can get, chicken strip dinner, you can get sandwiches, hamburgers and all that sort of stuff. But the Testicle Festival Now menu and the quote on the website. Here we go, Barry. The dad used to tell me, don't let your head beat your stomach out of something good to eat. Well, and I'm reading this off the menu so nobody can get offended. But for wow. The one nut wonder.
There we go.
You're scared to go all the way. Just try one nut.
There we go. Hey, listen, as we say, do you be true? Treat your star player the way you need to treat them. I love it. 31st festival. I love it.
You get the half sack. Listen, Barry Thompson, look, only you could get me to talk about it because they've been trying since I got here.
Hey.
And I'm undefeated.
Giddy up. Let's go, baby.
I am undefeated. There's a statement that will never be said about me. It's like, hey, Barry, I don't know what happened to DP since he got to Nebraska, but he was out there talking about eating testicles, man.
All right, listen, you keep talking that mess. They're going to send you a sash, and next year we'll see you on the float waving like this.
Hey, listen, you know this about me. One of my favorite things is that I do not have a number. I do not have – look, there's no number to get me to do a thing that I don't want to do. There's just –
love it.
We will sponsor the festival.
I love it.
It doesn't – I can support Nebraska things without indulging into all Nebraska things.
Agreed. We're going to support this festival. I love it.
I know you are, man.
Yeah.
Of course, the text line, tastes like chicken. And listen, I hear you. I'm never gonna know. I'm gonna take all of your the text line is on fire, Barry. Listen, they really are great.
Yeah.
I believe you. I believe you. Yeah. I'm gonna take your word for it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
BT, man.
Yes, sir.
As we talk about it, right, kind sir, that a big part of recent discussion, and we'll get into some real quarterback talk, but at the end of this show, I'd like to ask you about Team USA and the idea behind Olympics and Team USA as an organization and what we should be trying to do with it.
Yeah.
Because I know
you're talking about CC?
Yeah, but it blends into football.
Right.
And that is a space that we're familiar.
Right.
So I think we need to figure out and land on what the priority should be if it has the brand Team USA, whether And I don't know that there's a difference between Team USA and USA Olympics.
Right.
Because I think one leads to the other. But we'll talk about that later. Let's first get into this thing that you and I have talked about, and you've mentioned in several ways. I talk about it a little bit differently than you do. But for quarterbacks and arm talent, and being able to identify that you're getting quarterbacks. What are the youngest quarterbacks that you work with?
9.
9. All the way up until you've got pro quarterbacks that work out with you.
Till they sign.
Right?
Yes.
Until they sign. And then, it's amazing how that works.
No, they stay with me through signing. But
Yeah.
Like,
it's amazing the insecurity of professional coaches. Like, oh, you built this and got it here. You're done.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, just a shout out to Guy Myers. He's in the indoor league. He's finished his season, first year as a starter in indoor league, 41 touchdowns, total touchdowns for the season. Got his team within one game of the championship game. They actually lost to the Omaha Beef and the Slaughterhouse there, but had a great season. And shout out to Guy Myers.
Yeah, he should have. I'm surprised his mom didn't tell me that he was going to be playing in Omaha.
Yeah,
I would have found my way to that one. I've had quite a few professional battles with the Beef myself, so I understand what that is. But yeah, I mean the full range of it. And then I was explaining to folks that you have kind of somebody that's in the same vacuum that's working with receivers. He's kind of a dude.
No, he's not kind of a dude. He is a dude. And his brother's a dude. We call him King David. Jordan Reed, 8-year NFL vet, 7 years with the Redskins. It was the Redskins, 3-time All-Pro. And, at the time that Jordan was doing this, he was arguably the best route runner. George's going to say, he's going to cuff me after that, but arguably the best route runner in the NFL at the time. Went to University of Florida as a 4-star quarterback. I was down with Urban Myers, Tim Tebow, got there just after Cam Newton left. Redshirted, had some decisions to make, had some great people to learn from. I was just talking about him the other day, the watching part of it and learning and watching. Yeah, it's some great people to watch. And then, he got in the NFL and did his thing. And his brother David, who played with the Ravens, and was on that Super Bowl crew. They are both working with me in our small group format. So it's kind of like a mini practice. The Reeds take the receivers for an indie, maybe 20, 25 minutes. I take the quarterbacks, similar, and then we put them together in a group, just like a practice. We're working on the indie period, what we're going to apply in the group period. And it's a tremendous add to what we're doing. And I'm telling you right now, Jordan and the work that he and David are doing is really going to have the potential to change some lives because of the general lack of coaching, technical coaching at the receiver position. He's going to raise a young wave of receivers who know a lot, and they're going to make a lot of quarterbacks around here a lot better.
It is that thing, right, Barry, that a part of, like, I like where I am in life, but
okay.
but I do miss working with you directly with receivers and quarterbacks,
right?
Because we could get, you and I could create a plan in the living room,
yep,
and then go put it into play for 50 young men at the same time, and we would see immediate result, immediate change. And
right.
It's a long process, but it's good to know that Jordan Reed and his brother are there in that space, changing the game, because I have Nebraska coaches asking me about DC receivers. And to be able to say, hey, I know a place. I know the guy.
Right.
I know where some dudes are.
Right.
If you need some pass catchers, what are the big things that have to be developed there? What does Jordan bring to the table when it comes to knowledge and what he's teaching?
Well, the first thing, he brings a standard. Jordan is a no-nonsense guy. He's like, hey, we're going to start with A, and we're going to get A right. And if we don't get A right, then we're not going to B. So they quickly understand that this is a standard. We were talking last time about adults who mean what they say. Jordan's one of those grown men that when he's working with a young player, hey, I mean what I say. And that has a compounding effect on learning. And you go through the receiver positions. I think a lot of receivers run around and they catch the ball and they're fast, but they don't understand any of the technical parts of what they need to do. I've worked so many combines where they'll have against defensive backs, they'll do one-on-ones in its zone. And then they'll get to the man part, and the receivers have no idea what to do.
Man.
And they have no idea how fast they have eliminated themselves because they can't get off the line of scrimmage. The basics, I only know the basics. You should understand how to run a single route 3 different ways and when to apply that. You need to learn how to use stems and what's the purpose of them. You need to understand what safeties means and what space and time. You need to understand that they may draw up a slant, but you may get knocked off course. But as long as you get to the spot you need to be, that's fine. Some of them need to learn how to catch, DP. I mean, I've seen Jordan, like you think that's a thing, but I was talking to some of my college guys before our passing camp, and they were talking about a particular player that came from a specific school, and the exact phrase they used, they said, he doesn't know how to catch. It didn't say drop. Sometimes they said he doesn't know how to catch. So receivers can learn a lot from Jordan, people like him, and I really think we're on the verge of getting a wave of receivers who are going to understand the value of what he's delivering, and he really has the ability to change lives. Now you got 2/3 of the passing game that has the potential to get better. I mean, you can't do anything without pass pro, but you're improving 2/3 of your passing game. I mean, that alone moves your team forward when it comes to throwing the ball.
Through all of it, we you and I used to joke. Well, it's in the job description. You're a pass catcher.
Right.
Like catching the ball is a part of it, and how much of that isn't there. And then the other part of how we set development was, it's one thing to get open.
Right.
But my responsibility as a receiver and a receiver coach is to get open or get the receivers open on time.
Right.
And at the right place so that my quarterback can get him the ball.
Yes.
How much of that is missed, and how do you bridge that? Like, how do you fix?
You bridge it with people like Jordan who can explain to receivers. I've been on too many high school fields with receivers who are well-meaning, good effort, but just explaining a simple concept to them is difficult because they just have no foundational knowledge, right? You think about just if you, as a receiver, if you just knew at the high school level how to get off press, how to avoid a reroute, and how to get in and out of your route. Like if you just understood those 3 things, you would be a better receiver. Now there's a whole laundry list of things after that, but just those things. And so many receivers that I've been around at high school, unfortunately, don't know those things. And, and nothing against it, but they're running around, they're playing flag. They get thrown into contact, and it's different. And sometimes there's not the coaching there to you at the high school level. Sometimes you get kids who don't know the route tree. So you say a curl, and they'll ask you, does it turn away from the receiver or to the quarterback or in, right? And so you have to start there. And unfortunately, sometimes they don't start there. They just say, hey, we're running North Dakota. And they start telling them where to go, and there you go.
Yeah, that part. I mean, and again, I think sometimes the conversations between coaches before the season starts, before training starts, before camps start, before development starts, is getting the same language and getting on the same page. Because you and I had a conversation where we had to determine, you know what? For every route that can be run, I'm going to teach them how to run that route.
Right.
And that we needed to be able to communicate with a crowd of people around, with defenders standing in between you and them, what route we needed and why.
Yeah. Yes. And you're getting to the point about teaching depth instead of width, right? And when you teach depth, that's where development comes from. Too often people rush ahead and they want to teach width. I want to install an offense. I want to do this thing. And that's great that you want to do that. But the players need an opportunity to develop the skill that they're going to need to execute what you want them to do. And that's the step that gets missed a lot when it comes to the skill positions. Even go far to running backs. I've been around coaches, and you have good running backs, but I've been really good coaches, and they will actually coach the running back to understand the blocking scheme in front of him and understand that, against an odd front, this is going to break this way, and it's going to break that way. Not telling him where to run, but educating him about what's going on in front of him. Educating about why this step, not just a counter step. We're asking you to take a counter step because the tackle's pulling from here and you need to get on his hip, right? Those types of things are missed when you go to the skill position, sometimes at quarterback and a lot at receiver.
Barry, how much more of an advantage does it give for coaches like yourself who will teach you how to play rather than teaching plays?
I guess it makes me valuable. I had a coach recently. He has a new quarterback, and he says, "I don't think this quarterback can make this type of throw." It's a further throw, and he says, "Do you think he can make it?" I said, "Yes, by August he will." And he said, "Okay," but I took the kid out, and instead of asking him to make the furthest throw, first I asked him. I said, "Do you know what this throw is? A cover 2 hole throw?" I said, "Do you know what it is?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Where is it?" And he gave me the wrong yardage. I said, "No, it's exactly 18 to 22. It's exactly 18 to 22. I said, "That's where the ball needs to go." And not only does it have to be thrown in that area, it has to finish with enough energy that it would carry the receiver out of bounds. So now I've explained everything to him. Now, do I put him at 18 to 22? No. I pulled the guy down who was catching to like 12 yards. And I made sure we were using the exact right footwork so that we could consistently throw the ball in the way that the stationary guy caught like this. Now, once we get some of those short throws in and I can get him to tempo the ball correctly, then now I'll move back a couple yards and say to him, it's only 2 yards difference. And we'll kind of baby step it up to there. Now, I know that when you're in August practice, you don't have that time. And that's why the development is so important to be able, like in these next 6 weeks, with those sets of quarterbacks, to baby step them up, to being able to make the throw with confidence, make it accurately, then introduce the variable that would cause them to throw the ball. And once we get all that down, now we can start worrying about making the big throw. But they'll be able to do it by August.
And that's why I tend to chuckle when I hear about long-term development for quarterbacks, because I know that base level things can be put into play to guarantee that the young person can make the base level throws consistently.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
We know that we don't control the windows that they're going to throw to, because that's lineman conversation. That's pass pickup, pass pro there. But being able, from a timing standpoint, and then to be able to get their eyes to the exact window, and you're really good at giving them the proper windows to throw into, rather than trying to go, okay, I need to throw this guy open. No, throw it where you've agreed to throw it.
Right.
And it's the receiver's job to get to that spot and make the play.
Yep. We talk to the quarterbacks a lot. When they're younger, they have a tendency to watch the receiver. And I have to coach them off that. I said, you have to watch the route space. The receiver is a big boy. He'll get to where he needs to be. You need to understand, is the route space clean enough for you to throw to, right? And that's an idea of tying your feet and your eyes together. Your feet say it's time to throw. Your eyes say it's okay to throw, let the ball go. And that becomes, and as they get older in high school, they got to learn to process the defender. Now, this little throw that I was talking about is a short side, two-man route. You have a vertical and you have a quick out. Well, you have these corners that play this zone technique where their eyes are in, and they'll kind of bait you or kind of try to muddle the read by causing you to hesitate on the vertical and then maybe hesitating on the out. Well, after they can make the throw consistently, then it's their read of that corner and they're understanding pre-snap where the safety is. If he's on the hash, we might want to go work the other side on the short side. If he's inside the hash toward the field, okay, now we can go play with the corner. So you're giving them the tools. They know how to execute it. And then you slowly start introducing the live variables that they're going to face to execute it, and then to decide, no, I shouldn't do it. I think with quarterbacks, another thing that's really important is defining for them what is open.
What's good and what isn't.
What's not good. So, that safety on the short side of the field, in the high school field, on the hash, if you want to go get that guy, you better have a laser, right? Because he doesn't have much to cover. But if for some reason he's shading toward the field, then okay, we got a good look over here. We essentially have a 2-on-1. Let's go get it.
There's so much of that, Barry. And then with and again, the tease was that there are 15 areas that can be attacked, and quarterbacks and receivers have to have some understanding of that. We will get into that when we come back from break. On the brick and mortar, we're going to jump over to the Royals, but everywhere else with all the streams, Barry Thompson will return to one-on-one here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Get your nuts.
Highball Bar in downtown Lincoln is open and located just north of 11th and O Street. Highball Bar offers a vibe and atmosphere like no other, making it the perfect place to grab a drink or beverage. Highball Bar features great events such as Karaoke Sunday, $4 Cheetos on Mondays, Jack Daniel's specials on Wednesdays, and much more. Make Highball Bar your go-to spot after a hard day at work or on the weekend. Highball Bar, located at 122 North 11th Street in downtown Lincoln.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
You already know that Select Plumbing takes care of all your plumbing needs, including water heaters, faucet repairs, leaks, drips, sump pumps, and more. Now, they're able to help you with your heating and air conditioning as well. Select Plumbing has recently expanded into residential heating and air, and they're excited to bring this new service to their complete list of plumbing services. Call to book an appointment today at 402-560-6197 or go to selectplumbinginc.com, serving Lincoln, Seward, Milford, and the surrounding areas.
The 31st Annual Testicle Festival, Saturday, June 15th at Round the Bend Steakhouse, just off I-80, exit 426. Swing out 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. for music, fireworks, and, of course, nuts. Visit roundthebendsteakhouse.com for more.
Play ball! Tired of the same old routine? Then bring your crew out to Haymarket Park for a thrilling season of Lincoln Salt Dogs baseball and unleash the fun. Enjoy action-packed home games all week long from May through August. It's the perfect change-up to the typical family night or makes for a home run outing with friends and coworkers. Experience the magic and get in on the excitement. Visit saltdogs.com to secure your tickets now. Unleash the fun.
How many times has the dad in your life complained about being tired and sore and done nothing about it? Why not change things up this year for Father's Day with a gift certificate for a massage from the Body Shop? It's not a day at the golf course or a new tool for the shop, but it is something that can make activities less painful going forward. Get Dad a gift certificate today for Father's Day at thebodyshoplincoln.com. The Body Shop at 48th and A.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
It's getting nicer outside, but it's still hit or miss in the spring on golf weather. Not at Double Eagle Golf. You're home for always 72-degree weather with no wind. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues are underway, but stay tuned for info on indoor golf tournaments and book your bay for after the spring game in late April. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, sponsored by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to One-on-One on a Monday. Coach Barry Thompson, Fairfax Football Academy, joining us. He's the QB that breaks it down for us. A couple of things, shout-outs from all over the place, from Aberdeen, Maryland. Coach Thompson, here's a text for you. Shout out to Barry Thompson. He has a wealth of knowledge and is a class act. I'd like to know the best high school game he's been a part of.
Wow. It was all respect to our time together, but the best one that I was part of was Woodbury versus Bullis. It was at Bullis. It had Lyndall Stone, who was on the field, and Dwayne Haskins. And both teams were loaded with guys. I know off of our squad, there were 3 guys that went to UVA, a guy that went to Fordham, now he's at Indiana, just got invited to rookie camp. There were guys that went to Harvard. We had 3 1,000-yard pass catchers and a running back that ran for 1,500. We had a left tackle who went to Stanford. We had a right tackle that went to Towson, and they had equally number of dudes. We had guys with the Army. It was over there at Bullis, and the final was 66-65. Yeah. And I think it was you can look it up on YouTube. I think there was over 1,000 yards of offense, and there were 2 really significant plays in that game. Coach Alexander, at one point, there was a down and distance where we wanted to go for it, and he brought the punt team in. Our staff was very respectful, but on the headphones, everybody groaned. Everybody groaned. They were like, "No, coach!" And he ran a fake, and we got the first down, and we proceeded to keep up with the scoring. The next significant play, with all the balls going in the air, was we got down the goal line, and ran a draw play. Ran a draw play for a touchdown, and then kicked the extra point and won in overtime. So after all the theatrics of throwing the ball all over the place, nobody being able to stop anybody, the game came down to the running game and the kicking game, and that was the most exciting game that I've been a part of. And you guys can look that up: Woodbury versus Bullis. It's on YouTube.
You also have shouts out from Aberdeen. Of course, you have
Aberdeen. That's cousin Kevin.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Kev. Yeah.
He said shout out to the Cuzzo.
Yeah.
John in Cortland out here is just saying, hey, is there any way to get you to work with Nebraska folks? But yeah, that's a whole different conversation. Texter says, Coach Thompson is awesome, full of wisdom, transformative. Really enjoying this segment. Yeah, I 100%. And then another one from Nova, built by Northern Virginia. Billy E says, what's up?
Billy Edwards, University of Maryland. Let's go Terps.
There you go, man. Bring them in the spot. I'll read this one because I think it's worthy of and kind of explaining to people why Barry Thompson is who he is. My son was ridiculously passionate playing and being a receiver. As a kid, he really busted his tail overnight. Everything changed. He was diagnosed with a hip condition that where he could no longer run full speed. Thank God. The orthopedic said he will grow out of it. But which kid has years to waste? What a blessing from the sky when we met Coach Thompson. He literally turned my son from a receiver to a QB in less than a half a year. When I say quarterback, I'm talking that all the high school coaches keep asking when he will be medically cleared, and he's just 13. Coach T is a godsend. My kid is so passionate about the game of football, and Coach T gave the game back to him. Coach Thompson, well
let
done.
me tell you about that. That comes from a former Pennsylvania 33 guy who played football at Ohio State and has a very talented, hardworking son named Armand. Shout out to Armand and Sultan.
Yeah, it's what I know to be true. And it's great to hear other folks reaffirming and shouting out loud. And you know how I am about love out loud, that oftentimes we don't celebrate the things out loud. And it ends in regret because we have the opportunity to say, hey, Barry, what you're doing for young people. And then almost as importantly, and not to bury the lead, but what you're doing for families and community, because you're adding to, and I've used this phrase with you, adding to, that there are very few people in our vacuum who constantly, consistently, and purposefully take anything, situation, circumstance, person, and add to it and try to elevate it and make it go forward and up. So that's why we celebrate you, Barry Thompson, because
well, thank you.
You know, that's what this is. Let's get into the nuts and bolts of it, because we talk about this quarterback position, and you've heard the phrase arm talent. You talk about skill, touch, timing, windows, etc. But you work from a base core that there are different areas on the field that can be attacked via the air.
Right.
And that helps you manage your young people and what you're trying to teach them. Break that down for folks who may not be familiar.
Well, it's an offensive game in that there are 15 areas of the field that have to be defended every snap, and defense only has 11 players. It's not new to any defensive coordinator out there. And when you think about it, they do a heck of a job, because every snap, no matter how they line up, the defensive coordinators know that there's something that they're giving up. There are 7 run gaps if you play with the tight end that have to be defended. Right behind that line, the first level of defense, right behind the first level of defense, there are 5 underneath passing zones. You have the middle, the 2 hook curls, slant hitch on the seams, and then the 2 flats. That's 5. And you can divide the back end up any way you want to, but for simple math, divide it up into thirds. Now, defensive guys will tell you, well, it's not just 11, it's 13 because we have the sideline. I played defense in college. The only time the sideline comes into play is if you got a guy pinched up against the sideline and you can kind of angle to take things away from him. But when you're out in the field and someone stretches you horizontally or somebody stretches you vertically, it's tough to defend an offense that's smart, a quarterback who's accurate, a quarterback who is on time. It's a tough game. You only have a couple tactics, which is you try to rotate and maybe confuse what he's looking at, or you're going to apply pressure. And it's gotten to the point where most quarterbacks at the upper level, they kind of like it when you apply pressure because they have an answer for that too.
Through all of this, right, that you and I used to talk about, that from the receiver side, I always felt like if I could threaten a defender vertically and sell the vert, that everything else was easier off of that. Is that true, or can we work from another space?
No, we were just talking about this Sunday with a group of receivers, and Jordan, was kind enough to let me speak. And I went to not that he cuts me off, but he allows me a little grace there on the field. And I was talking to him about a stem or something. I said, listen, one of the basic things about running routes that I know is everything is vertical until it's not. And among those catalog of things that receivers have to learn is how to make everything look vertical, because there are few individuals who can run at a top end speed and stop at a dime. So a receiver has to learn how to make it look like he's going vertical, but operate at a speed that he can control and get in and out of his breaks. I once heard this jump of field when the Atlanta Braves had that Glavin and Maddox and all those guys. I'm going way back. And Maddox was considered a guy who didn't throw the ball particularly hard. But what he said one time, he says, look, if you stand on a highway and a car passes you at 57 miles an hour, and another car passes you at 53 miles an hour, you can't really tell the difference. And that's some things that receivers have to learn in terms of pacing and stride. Everything's vertical till it's not, but you have to do it in a way that sells the vertical, but you still can control your speed. Controlling speed is a big thing in a lot of respects. I'm going off the baseball, but baseball, they can measure bat speed. Well, the maximum bat speed isn't what a guy swings with because he can't always control the bat head at maximum bat speed, but he has another speed in which he can drop the barrel head and do what he needs to do. It's similar with receivers, and it's similar with quarterbacks, by the way.
Through all of that, right? That in selling the vert, it allows the quarterback a clearer vision of how they're being defended, right? Because their response to vertical threat.
Yes.
So it is important for the quarterback to know, one, what it validates what he thinks he sees, right? Because he's got his keys that he's looking at. But vert sell helps the quarterback identify what he's actually throwing against.
It does. It gets into that area that as they get older, you have to process defenders. So let's say that you're running some vertical stem and the guy gets long in his strides and he closes up that cushion in 3 or 4 steps. Well, at that point, the defensive back has to come out of his back pedal and he has to pit. Now, if the receiver is really good, he's kind of dictated which way he's going to open his hips according to the route that he's in. And when you have a receiver that can do all that, man, you can really trust what you see, right?
Yeah.
And it just helps because throwing the ball on time is one thing. Throwing the ball on time and locating it is another thing. And then the last thing, doing all of those things with confidence and you let it out of your hand because you're not guessing, you're not weebly about it. A good receiver can do that for you.
Through all of that, right? The 15 areas that can be attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a pyramid or a hierarchy to areas that are easier to defend of those 15 or more difficult?
Well, if you look at any high school, even the NFL, 75% of the passes completed in the NFL are 12 yards or less. The NFL measures completions under 15 yards and completions over 15 yards. And I believe the last thing I saw is that the completions under 15 yards, they were at 69%. That's the thing that moves chains. The completion rate above 15 yards league-wide was about 30-40%, right? So it is really a 53 and a third game. It's a horizontal game that has some vertical stretches in it. But you're sticking with the high percentage thing. The pros are so off the chart accurate in terms of decision making and timing and that underneath game, and that helps everything else as they go along. And high school quarterbacks have to understand, yes, you can go downfield. Here's the thing: young guys always want to say, hey, I need to work on my deep ball. As soon as they tell me they want to work on as soon as they tell me that, I know that they have problem completing passes underneath. So here's what I say to them. I say, I may have said this before on the air. I said, I'm going to give you a receiver that hasn't been born yet. Nobody's ever seen him. In August heat in full gear in the fourth quarter, he can run a 4-flat 40. I said, you're lucky to have 2 seconds to throw the ball. So where will he be in 2 seconds? They said 20 yards. I said, okay, if you throw the ball and it hangs in the air more than 2 seconds, would that be bad? They go, yeah. I said, so at 2 seconds, where would he be? 40 yards. I go, that's the game. Can you control the ball at 40 to 45 yards? Can you process the defender and make the correct throw to your receiver? Can you throw him from the top of the numbers to the bottom of the numbers? Or if he smoked his guy, can you give him air to grass to let him keep going? Or if he's pinched up against the sideline, can you put enough air on it so he can kind of position himself if you still like the matchup? Those are the things that are really important about going down the field.
Barry, one of my favorite phrases is quarterbacks who throw a receiver open. Throw him open.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think most people really understand that still has boundary. Like that has a finite clock. It has finite space.
Yeah.
And the more athletic and the more talented those defenders, the tighter those windows and shorter that clock gets.
Yeah.
Open.
I think like arm talent, that's some issues for. I'll tell you what, just throwing on time, right, is something that young quarterbacks have to get used to. We were doing a drill the other day where I was putting a receiver at the top of a 3-step slant stem, right? And I told the receiver, don't move until you see the quarterback hit his 3rd step. Now, as we were doing this, the quarterbacks were having a hard time understanding where to throw the ball. So I had to walk them out and say, there's the route space for the route. And if you're throwing on time, this is what it will look like. It should look like this. You should see a lot of green grass. You shouldn't see the receiver, right? And it takes a while to kind of develop that. And some people may say that's throwing them open. To me, that's thrown on time. And that's thrown into a space where you're going to catch the ball because it takes time to get the ball from his hand to the route space. And it takes time for the receiver to get in there. But, it's part of the things that they learn.
Barry, what's the thing? How do you work with receivers? And 7-on-7 creates some bad habits. Let's be honest. There's some things that happen at mid-level 7-on-7 that happen. Yeah,
would you say
nice,
some?
man. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice because everybody, you have all the time in the world 7-on-7. Like it's like, wait a minute, getting open and getting open on time, and then getting open where you need for them to be.
Yeah. Listen, go ahead. Sorry.
No, how do you talk that through? How is that a thing that for a high school quarterback and a high school receiver to get on the same page about, listen, man, I understand you have great feet and you're quite the dancer, but at some point I need for you to show up.
Well, it's not only that. The quarterbacks just stand there, so there's no footwork tied with the routes or any of that stuff, and they have 4 seconds to throw. Listen, I don't want to hate on anybody who – it's like there's people out there who could put together a long list of all the enjoyable and fun things there are about 7-on-7, and I would not argue with any of them. I would say all those things are true. But if you were to ask me how that relates to playing in the fall, I'm going to say not very much. Mm-hmm. Just start with the fact that when you play 7-on-7, there are 2 defenses that you're going to face primarily that you won't face in the fall. You're going to face man free or 2-man under. Now, if you go to the fall and somebody wants to play 2-man under, I'm telling you, you're going to run the receivers off and run the ball all day. So there's just not much. And folks need to understand 7-on-7 comes from an old practice segment. Like inside, perimeter drill, there was 7-on-7, routes on the air, 7-on-7. It got extrapolated, and it's fine. But it's getting to the point when I'm on a high school field the last couple of years, we don't do much 7-on-7 because it doesn't really relate to the decisions, the pocket, the feel, the randomness of what the quarterback has to react to and then make a decision. So we went at Westfield the last couple of years. We did more 11-on-11 passing. So there was a pocket around him. It was kind of hands off of the quarterback, but he could feel right and have to adjust to find a window, make decisions, and it's more realistic. I don't want anybody to think I hate 7-on-7. I don't. It's just that from a development standpoint, I don't see a lot of carryover from that to what was required in the fall. I'll put it this way. Of all my college guys who come home in May to work with me, none of them asked, hey, coach, can we get a 7-on-7? Billy Edwards and Noah Kim and Grant, they don't call me on the phone and say, hey, coach, I'm coming home. Can we get a 7-on-7? They say, hey, coach, can we get on the field and work on some things? That's the best way I can explain it.
And what are those things, Barry, before we go to break, what are those things that they want to work on?
They want to work on mastering their skills, their certain routes. To sum it up, just to put in the box before we go to break, there's a old basketball player named Larry Bird. And Larry Bird said that most times you're better off practicing than you are playing. And he said most people don't understand that. And just real quickly, when you practice, you could practice something you need to work on 100 times. If you're playing, it may only come up once. So which one's going to make you better?
Yep, it is the simplicity behind it. Coach Barry Thompson, Fairfax Football Academy. We'll be right back, and we'll close out the hour with the coach.
Spring is a time of things. If you haven't tried Fuhrer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fuhrer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Join On the Block and Old School live from Scissors and Scotch on 30th and Yankee Hill on Thursday, June 6th to celebrate their grand opening. Feel better instantly with a beard trim, haircut, or a traditional shave courtesy of the experienced and professional barbers at Scissors and Scotch. Stick around after your cut and enjoy a beverage in their cozy bar area, and don't worry, there's more than just Scotch. Spend your afternoon with Scissors and Scotch at 93.7 The Ticket, live on location June 6th from 2 to 6 p.m.
Spring in Nebraska brings green grass and warmer weather, but it also brings severe storms which can cause damage to your home. Meadowlark Exterior specializes in hail, storm, and wind damage restoration, as well as roofing, siding, and gutters for commercial or residential buildings. Meadowlark Exteriors focuses on fine craftsmanship and proves that in their attention to detail. They offer free roof inspections and estimates and insurance claim assistance, serving the Lincoln and Omaha surrounding areas. Call today at 402-875-2956 or go to meadowlarkexteriors.com.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars: Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals in everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
This is Coach Bill Bush. You all know my passion for Nebraska. Having coached all over the country, I can honestly say there is no place like Nebraska. You know where there's also no place like? Midwest Bank. Midwest Bank has proudly served Nebraska for over 70 years, and they're located in 9 different communities. Midwest Bank is ready, willing, and able to meet all your personal, business, and agriculture needs. Your community, your bank, and mine, Midwest Bank. Find out more at Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, sponsored by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment with Coach Barry Thompson. I see the Savage family. Man, what a family.
Oh my gosh. Hey, hi Miss Kenya, hi Mr. Savage, and shout out to Tyler and his brother. Tyler's down at ECU. We mentioned tight ends earlier. I've been blessed to have a couple of high school quarterbacks that have converted to tight ends. Brian Courtney down at Florida State, Rye Yates at Yale, Tyler Redco at Campbell, and then Tyler Savage, who was briefly a quarterback, but I claim him, and he's now at the tight end position down in East Carolina. And am I forgetting anybody? And then I have a guy that we had since high school, Thomas Burke, who's at the College of New Jersey, All-American, and is probably going to get a pro tryout here pretty soon. So we have tight ends too.
Yeah, how about that? That whole development of text line is like, did you shout out Miles Thompson? We always shout out Miles.
Yes, Miles. Yes. Yes.
We always shout out. Look, when you win multiple state titles at quarterback, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let me embarrass him. Mr. 22-0, back-to-back state champion Miles Thompson. Yes, we'll shout him out.
Yeah, that dude. And my only regret in basketball was taking the ball out of his hands in an important moment. One flaw, Miles. I apologize, even to this day.
It made it DP. It made him stronger.
Hey, it made me smarter. It made me smarter. We'll never do that again. You get an elite athlete, give him the ball, man. Let him figure it out. Jeez. Yeah. Coaches have to learn too. Hey, before we get out of here, we got about 3 minutes.
Okay.
I do want to ask this question. Do you talk much with your young people about NIL? Is that a part of those Division I quarterbacks' life? Is that a focus? Is that just the vibe? Is that a thing that comes later?
It's tangential. It's come up before, but they're all in very different situations. Most of them have little small things, not very big things. So I think they my guys currently more accurately paint the picture of most of the athletes. You hear these numbers thrown around, but I'll ask my guys, and they're like, "Coach, it's not like that. They're doing okay, but it's not like they're driving Bentleys or what are they, Lamborghinis and Maybachs."
Yeah, but that's why I asked. Like, people think that everybody is just bathing in cash. It's like Dom DeLuise from History of the World, treasure bath. It doesn't work that way. It's 1%, and most of the young people are so focused on the work. They're so focused on the process. Look, for those that are getting rich off of it, cool. But for most of the student athletes that you're training, most of them are working, one, humbly.
Yes.
Two, purposefully. They're honoring the game, and whatever happens from it happens.
Yeah, and let me say something about my guys. Billy Edwards graduated in 3 years. Noah Kim graduated early. Tony Musket, I believe he's gotten his degree. He graduated early. I know Grant Wilson has done a heck of a job with his degree. They are exactly what you said. These are guys that have really put their nose to the grindstone, and they're really focused on how I can get better the next day.
Shout out to Coach Boyle. Talking about can't wait. Can't wait.
Coach Boyle.
Can't wait.
Hey, that's WNL, Chris Boyle.
Listen.
Yeah.
We don't need an excuse to shout out the fighting generals from WNL.
I'm telling you. Hey, DP, it's been so nice to be surrounded by I've loved all the schools I've worked at, but I can't tell you how comfortable it is to get dressed in those colors every day.
Yeah, to wear the blue and gray. And listen, I have but one issue with WNL. I haven't gotten a package in Lincoln, Nebraska from the Fighting Generals. Long overdue. Let's go.
I'll talk to Coach Shapiro about that. We'll get something coming your way.
Hey, BT, we'll do it again next week, brother. Appreciate you. Love you to pieces and continue doing what you do. There it is,
thank
man.
you.
Barry Thompson, Fairfax Football Academy. You can find him that way, Barry Thompson. Fairfax Football Academy if you want to follow on social media as well. Don't go anywhere. Another cat from Northern Virginia, DeMornay Pearson L. will hold down the microphone here on the Ticket FM Ticket Weeknights.